girls, grab your beers.
Hey everybody, this is Charlie from Anthrax, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
This is Mark Metcalf, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio.
You are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio. Yes, Kato Kalin listens to this all the time.
Welcome to today's Boondoggle. Now here's your host.
I am Monty Heath, so one Heath, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
Hey, what's up? It's John from Skillet, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle on Domain Cleveland Radio.
Fasten your seatbelts.
What's going on, everybody? It's Bill Bailey with today's Boondoggle.
Boon! Boondoggle!
And it has been too long, man. But
the white men are back.
But
Yeah.
but the times have called for it, man. We are in need of another episode with special guest Florence Whitingale.
Yeah.
And Cleveland Marko bringing the wisdom, the knowledge, the wake up call, you know. So this is going to be like like an Alex Jones special emergency episode here. We're going to be talking about that Project 2025. We're going to be covering that. We're going to be covering. We're going to be trying to put a lot of pieces together.
Cats.
You know. I mean, you can go back to previous episodes to see how much we love cats.
Yeah.
You know, but we're going to be talking more about cats and cat ladies and how they're going to affect the election.
Essentially,
We got a good we got a good show for you today.
Got the Caucasian Hose twins here now. But I mean, I know like a while back we'd been we had John, we were talking about a lot of the toxins in our homes and the things that, we talked Toxoplasma gondii from cats and how it affects people's brains. And I know we're going to touch more on that stuff.
right.
But we had been talking offline previous to this, and you were going to come on and we were going to talk a little bit about the national parks.
What's it called again?
Oh, the Wildlands
The
Project.
Wildlands Project.
Yeah.
And then you got sick. And then we just hadn't been able to get together,
Right.
And I thought they were trying to take you out, Mark.
Right.
I thought they were trying to keep you from bringing the truth and the wisdom.
Right.
But let's go back and just touch a little bit about what we were originally going to talk about. Then with the let the listeners know about the Wildlands Project.
Okay, so now what they're doing is they're skewing everything. So they got this thing here called, this is the new project.
Yeah.
Okay, and I wrote this book. And it's a quick review of a 900-page thing. But the real this is more of a smoke screen. Okay, let's talk about the real project.
Well, what's the smoke screen?
It's basically
What what you wrote is a smoke screen?
No.
Project 2025.
Project 2025
is being pushed on everybody as the smoke screen.
Okay.
Basically what you're saying.
All right.
And that was the argument I brought up earlier too. That I've had a lot of friends. Some very much on the left, and some that have been neutral and are fellow veterans like myself. They're like, do you see what they're trying to do to our veterans benefits with Project 2025? Do you see? And I'm like, well, hold on a minute. When they start pushing this thing and start throwing this Project 2025 at us right away, when we've known about Agenda 2030, 2020, whatever.
Nobody read the Patriot Act.
We've known about the World Economic Forum, and you guys haven't mentioned Klaus Schwab, and obviously you're not educated. You're pushing a point that they want you to push right now.
Right.
And it's a distraction. So I've told my friends this. I was like, mate, let's feel things out and let's see where did this thing come from and why is it so available on the internet. But when you try and go down a rabbit hole to search the other agendas that I've mentioned, it's very difficult to find it. And then I argued with one of my left friends the other day. I'm like, dude, have you known about Agenda 2030 and all this? He's like, well, send me documents on it. And I'm like, here's the documents. Here's the UN, it's on their pages, but you got to read through it. And it's all these pages of whatever, but you got to read through to find that there's a depopulation plan in there. You know, oh well, if you can't point it out to me, I'm like, dude, I can't do the homework for you. I've had to do the homework. You know,
I was gonna say that's what when this project 2025 came out. Everybody's cherry picking it. Okay, the critics are saying they're just picking one or two things out of a 920-page document. If you read this document and you're a good reader, 300 words a minute, it's going to take you between 45 and 60 hours to read straight. Okay, without bathroom breaks.
That's like the Patriot Act.
Nobody is
Right.
reading this. Not one person that talks about it's reading it. Not one news person on any media is reading it. Matter of fact, the people who wrote the book didn't even read it. Okay, to kind of put it together.
Right.
And so they're cherry picking a couple things out of it, and then they're bringing it out. And like today, people have a 15-second attention span, so they just say, you know, this, and bam, and they throw it out there like he lies, and all of a sudden he lies, right? Or he's a rapist. Well, that's what they're doing to this. And then the other side spin it too, because and we'll talk about the real project in 1 second. So I kind of read it, and I came up with a little quick review. Okay, and I didn't spin this.
So you try and dumb it down for the mass.
Well, this is like a footnotes or whatever it is. What are the
footnotes?
Cliff notes.
And I'm not on the right or the left on this.
Right,
okay?
it's just completely in the middle.
If you want to read
it is what it is.
And I found out that the real book is only 30 chapters, but it's really 40 is what I came up with. There's a few other ones.
Well, I went to the website and looked at it, and it's very long.
You can read it. It's free.
Right. It's free, yeah.
But no one's going to read it.
But I'm like, dude, I don't have time for this.
Nobody's going to read it. Well, anyways, so the real project, while they're doing this smoke screen, which there's a lot, by the way, if you actually read this, there's a lot more good in here than bad. This is beautiful. But you know what? No one's going to let anybody know how beautiful it is. They're just going to see how bad it is. And they're going to, and the smoke screen is, this isn't the project that's going on. The real project is the Wildlands Project and Agenda 21. Now, 2030 is just Agenda 21 redone, made beautiful. But you got to go to Agenda 21 was in 1992.
That was the foundation.
36 years ago, Regional de Janeiro. It's also like a 400-page document that nobody read. If you can't even read, if you try to read it, it's like, oh my God, really? But if you read that book today, 35 years later, you're like,
oh, that's happening right now.
Oh, wait a minute. 15-minute cities, bike paths, roundabouts, introducing wolves to the wilderness. It's all we're not fixing bridges anymore. Remember that bridge that collapsed? You think that was an accident?
No.
Think about it. That was called the Dolly. The Dolly was the boat that hit it. It was roughly 7 million minutes old. And in 1 minute, it hit that bridge. Okay, the chances of
7 million 1 minute old.
Yeah, in 1 minute.
From the moment it splashed into the
7 million minutes old.
Okay.
In 1 minute, it did that. And it also did all kind of crazy stuff, right? And it happened to hit one bridge out of 4. Well, anyways, I calculated the odds of that happening.
Right pillar at the right time.
You know what the odds of that happening?
The ship
like
turned.
the sun lining up with the moon and the earth perfectly.
You could win the lot. You'd have to win the Ohio lottery 4 times in a row for that to actually happen. So and why did it happen? Was the first thing that came out? The president said
it's a major
here's the
transportation,
thing. And that is going to lead into the Wildlands. I'm going to lead into the Wildlands Project. And what did the president say that day? Oh, we'll bail them out. We'll pay for it. And
no investigation. No,
but that's okay. See what he did? See what he did? Oh, I'm not paying for that. Let Lloyd's of London pay for it. Let them pay for it. Right? But the real reason was to plant the seed. We in the city aren't going to fix this bridge. You're going to pay for it. What we really said was there's 33,000 other bridges in America, in rural America, that are all bad, and they all cost 100 times. Or this particular bridge cost $60 million to build, $600 million to fix. So think about that. So there's 32,000 bridges in America in rural country. Well, they're not going to fix them. You know why? Because you and me said, we ain't paying for that. We ain't paying. And how did
Ukrainians must have?
We're not going to pay for it. And guess what? They're pulverizing roads right
now.
now in these cities. They're taking down bridges. They're taking down dams. The post offices are leaving these towns all over the country. They're not telling you about it because they're moving the people from the rural country. Wildlands Project. Watch. They're moving them to the cities. 15-minute cities, bike paths, roundabouts. You got to eat the food in your town. Like here in Ohio, we can't have bananas. We have to have strawberries because we grow them here. Right. So it's all part of that. So the Wildlands Project.
We'll be District 8 that grows strawberries and this and lettuce indoors. And
this is happening all
Hunger Games.
All over. Right. Yeah. This is not only happening in America. This is happening in England and South America. It's simultaneously being done. And here's
I think what it could be. I think people are acting locally but thinking globally.
Yeah, this is a global. Well, it's about cores, corridors, buffer zones, and high population zones. Well, cores, these are areas that are parks. Now, remember they shut down the parks once for a while? They did a test. Nobody can go to them. They want to see how that would work out. And then Clinton in 1993.
What do you mean you couldn't go to a park?
They ran out of money. Yeah, this is the 20 years.
Oh,
remember that?
Years back
everything's
when
a
COVID?
test.
Yeah, okay.
Everything's a test.
A beta test. Yeah.
When the power went down the grid, test. Last week, what the internet went down, all test. And so Clinton in 1993 introduced wolves and bears to the parks. You think that was because we like wolves and bears? You think like when you watch Yellowstone, they tag the wolves?
Are you suggesting that they want?
No, they're carnivore. No, they're carnivores.
Eat humans that come in.
No, yeah, but let's see, bears and wolves and tigers. These are carnivores. Oh my.
Yeah.
Now, well, here's a core. And humans can't live in core zones, and I'll tell you why. And the reason they did that is the way they define a core.
So the core zones are could be a national park.
No humans allowed even into them.
Okay.
And
because I was thinking a core zone would be like an industrial zone.
There's a map.
But this is a different type. Go ahead.
There's a map on this in the United States where the cores and corridors and buffer zones are. It's crazy.
All right.
They made this 20, 30 years ago. Well, the core is an area where no humans ever can go. You can't fly over nothing. Right. And here's how they came up with the core.
Antarctica.
Well, it's another show. There.
Yeah, all right.
And so in New Zealand in 1800s, they had these birds. They didn't fly, and these birds laid eggs. And all of a sudden, humans showed up to New Zealand, and a couple of rats jumped off the ship, and they got we can eat the eggs. And these birds went extinct. They realized, oh my God, the rats are eating the birds that can't fly. Because humans were interjected to this land. So they took the birds to other islands. We're not going to get into all that. There's books on it. It's called Rewilding America, Rewilding books. You got to read these things.
That could be why that Chinese moth is over here, and it's really bad for our thing. It's a beautiful looking moth that goes through a different type of pupa stage. It'll be a caterpillar, and then it's a beetle, and then it's a moth, or vice versa. But they're very bad. My buddy was telling me, you see one of these things, kill it immediately. It's an invasive.
Oh, yeah. I've seen signs at the national parks. So
right.
Be careful. So they decided that, wait a minute, we can't have humans in cores. So the park and cores, and let's get to the carnivores, okay? The corridors, that too. The elephants were in India, and they had to go, they ran out of food, so they go across the country, and that's called a corridor, travel from one area to corridor to a core. And you
suggesting they're going to wall it off?
No. These are all wild. They're just connecting. Corridors.
I mean, but would they here's a national park, here's a national
and there's
park,
a corridor.
And there's a corridor for the animals just to go through.
Yes.
Right.
No
so there
humans.
could be like 30-foot walls.
No walls.
Or something.
No, just wide open. Because no humans. Don't worry about it.
So, I know, but how are they going to get from one corridor to another corridor without interfering with humans?
So here's what happened. The elephants had to travel hundreds and hundreds of miles, and they went through the zones with people, and they got depressed, and they died, and they got lost, and they got sick, and they caught diseases. Yeah. And then they realized no humans in the corridors because the animals got to travel. So when the wolves run out of food, they got to go through a corridor to another core. Now the buffer zones are areas around. A buffer zone would be like if you got $1 million or not. Let's say you're rich, and I'm going to go on the African safari.
Oh, okay.
Guess what? Those African safaris are buffer zones for the rich people. But no one's going into the cores or corridors. No humans are ever allowed again. And then you have high population zones. So now, how do you move people out of these cores and corridors? You have fires. You modify the weather.
Train derailments.
It got here said. All this is going on, and so
open up portals that allow apex predators from another dimension, like Dogman in.
Wait, you might be.
That's another.
So Clinton, this gets news. He lets bears and now carnivores. Now here's what's important about carnivores. You have to have carnivores in a forest. Now that's why the
carnivore.
You gotta have it. And the anti-meat comes into this, okay? No, the vegetarian comes in. So you got this core, and you got wildlife in there, right? If there isn't enough, if the core isn't big enough, then the birds, when they migrate to the cores, they all of a sudden go. It's not big enough, so they lay their eggs. And guess what? The bird, it's a bird that lays these big eggs. It's called the cowbird. We have millions of them, and they lay their eggs in these nests. And these eggs are bigger, and they take over, and they kick out the babies, and the parents feed the cowbird, and then the other bird goes extinct. So you're
talking about a bird coming and making a nest out of an eagle's nest, and the other bird is so big it'll eat the baby eagles.
The songbird comes in from
Right,
South
right.
America,
Yeah,
makes
I
an
see-
egg,
I know what you're
5
talking about,
eggs. The cowbird comes in from lays a bigger egg.
Right.
He takes over, kicks the babies out, and they feed
Right.
him, and that's it. And then those birds can't. There's nobody to fly back, right?
Right.
So it's extinction. They're going to use the extinction events as the reason for this. Okay. Now the other problem is the cores are too small. They got to be bigger, because if they're too small, then there's no wolves and bears that can live. They need big space.
Right.
And what happens is we got cows out in the country trampling the ground, and we got deer eating the trees. Those are predators to these areas. That's why we can't have cows. Cows destroy the earth. The cores don't get bigger, so we start the anti-meat vegetarian agenda. It's all part of the big plan, you know. And same with the deer. The deer chew the trees, so it's about making the cores bigger, corridors. Now, this is happening just like the bridge. We talked about the bridge, a hit.
Yeah.
That. What if they don't fix bridges out in the country, and they take the post office away? They can't. They're going to move out of that town.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen in that town? It's going to go par corridor. They're going to move to the city. And so that is what the Wildlands Project is all about. There's books on this stuff. It's hard to find it. That is the real not this Wildlands Project. And Agenda 21, we could talk about that too. So that is what's really going on. Agenda 21. Everything that happens today is in that book.
I mean, Agenda 21 is happening right now, because I mean it was set to happen by 2021, right?
Well, culminating by 2030, right? Culminating to another phase by 2030. Right?
And that's why they had to extend it to 2030, I guess, because, well, some say, you know, Trump came and derailed it, but I think he's another part of the show personally. But
as long as you understand that the show is run by the same puppet masters, which would be people who run the United Nations.
Right.
This whole world is being run by the UN.
Yeah.
And the CIA is their police. Period. Yeah. No questions asked. I mean, that's what they do. They go around countries. They change regimes. People get murdered. People get killed. People die. People car accidents. Whatever it is, and they bring in their own people. That's what's going on in Ukraine. People just don't get it. They watch a TV news, and you guys know about TV news,
media,
right? And all they do is plant a few seeds. And the dumber we get from eating all this glycosol and we watching frequencies from TV, the dumber we get, the lower IQs get, the less the more we become susceptible.
Or carnivore.
We need more
carnivore.
Am I getting too excited? Am I getting too excited about
No, you're doing great.
No,
very interesting. Go ahead. My mind's going a million miles.
Where's so I mean, like I was asking, you know, originally Agenda 2021. If people go back and read, because you mentioned Rio de Janeiro, I mean, there's a lot of it was climate and all that too, has been part of the thing they've been trying to push for a long time, carbon taxes and all that. Well, if you go back to what they intended to have by 2021, we're already kind of there.
We're totally there. Part? Yeah. No, they're moving it. They're moving it to the next phase, which is carbon taxing. And by the way, in Canada right now, in Canada's already carbon taxing. 65% of your money, close to it, goes away. You don't get it. Okay. And so
but they're going to promise what's that called, that free money,
A Wonderful Life.
They have a program now in Canada, and
universal basic income,
where the Canadian hospitals help kill you. They commit murder in the hospital, and if you're sick, they say you should die. You don't need to live.
Euthanasia programs.
Well, that's what it is.
We're talking part of the depopulation too.
Thousands of people.
So Soil and Green shit.
Dude, now, it's real. It's happening. My cousins live in Toronto. They tell me about this. It's crazy. They're killing people in the hospitals.
I know.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the part of the the now Agenda 2030. They, it was the Georgia Guidestones, which now have disappeared or whatever too. It was mentioning how to get the Earth's population to a sustainable level. Well, to have these cores and everything, we need less humans. So what is part of the plan then? Because I tried explaining this to a friend of mine. He's like, where does it say in these UN agendas to bring the population down and depopulate?
First of all, you
would never do that.
You don't even have, you just look at what's going on with
We're doing it to ourselves, basically.
Abortion, glyphosate,
No.
the male sperm count,
The-
people the vaccines fucking up women. Now they can't have babies.
You know that in 1960,
These cat women don't need 20% of cat ladies don't need a man.
oh, we're gonna get into that.
But they need 9-volt batteries.
We're gonna tell you how the cat lady is gonna win the election later.
Yeah.
We'll build up to it.
yeah.
I don't want to let
The
that.
anxiety is killing me.
What were you just talking about before?
We were just
The
talking-
wildlands
Well,
shit.
how the depopulation.
population.
So here's
you don't
what
need
people-
humans.
Here's
You
what
don't need
people don't
humans.
know.
Yeah.
This is what they don't understand. Okay, they're not going to kill you in some concentration camp. They're just going to. Okay, kids today aren't having kids.
Mhm.
Okay, the growth, the birth rate in
Birth rate's
America
going
is
down.
under 1.7. You have to have a 2.2 to sustain it.
That's right.
When we were
Yeah.
kids, it was like a 3 and 4. Okay,
Right.
and today Japan is a 1.2,
Right.
Europe's a 1.3, Slovenia is a 1.2. So like Japan, if you take that number, extrapolate that, in 60 years there'll be nobody left in Japan unless you introduce people like here we're introducing immigrants, 20 million of them,
Yeah.
because
Robots.
those women are coming from countries where their birth rates are still 3 and 4.
Yeah.
So they're coming and making babies to fill our houses. Our girls have cats. We'll talk about cats, right? And dogs. I mean, 220 million pets in our homes, 340 million people. 20 million are came over the board last 3 years. Think about who's wagging a dog here. And there's 70 million cats in our homes, 70 million cats out in the woods, feline.
Oh, look at my neighborhood. That fucking asshole. Forgive me for cursing. This asshole down the street. He told me he was going to let the cats do whatever, and he was eventually going to take them to the county and get them. But there's cats all over the place.
My daughter's single and a cat. My other daughter's got a cat.
This is the push too, though. This ties in the feminist movement.
Yeah.
You know, I don't need no man.
Yeah.
You know, this pushes in the LGBTQ movement, which people don't want to admit and see too. If same sex is having sex with the same sex, you don't reproduce.
Yeah. It's
You
also
know?
pushing the
But
latex play doll.
you're getting
as well.
you're getting pleasure. You're getting your rocks off. You're happy. You're able to advance in your careers. You don't have no kids holding you back and costing you money. You know, it's like kids have been demonized. The nuclear family has been demonized. You know,
20% of all women in America are in that category. They don't need men. And 51% of all women in America, I looked this stuff up. This is from Perplexity, which is AI. I'm not making these numbers up. I got them right here this morning. I looked this stuff up. 52% of all women in America have no male or female, or I'm sorry, no spouse, none at all. And 20%
But they got cats.
they get 36 million women have cats.
Yeah.
And that don't have children. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And so 20% of what you said, you call the feminists, 20% of women are in that category. It's a huge number.
Yeah.
Huge.
But because but these movements that come out to, like I said, destroy the nuclear family, the family that reproduces and grows this country, you know, populate, you know, that's how they're manipulating the masses to quit our population growth, basically, you know.
Right.
So it's like, okay, let's push the gay agenda. You could still get your rocks off with this bearded man doing backflips in the Olympic opening ceremony,
Right.
or you know.
Well, then you're also getting to the point where
bearded
AI
woman, whatever.
and robots are starting to take over work. You needed a large family in an agrarian society because you needed free labor. If people work and live in the city where you don't need free labor, then a kid is just an expense. A kid children have been referred to as expensive pets.
Expensive pets
Because of the
a clump of
system.
cells,
Right, because
you know?
of the system, you know. And that's part of it too.
They're not going to hold
know?
me back from reaching my
Right.
goals, you know, my materialistic goals or
Right.
whatever. It's and us talking about it, we're the extremists, we're the terrorists, we're the wackadoos, you know.
Yeah.
It's funny how the mass manipulation of society has become to look at as the family core and reproducing and having kids as a
an oddity,
a bad thing, which and it's obviously with the statistics and the percentages you presented, it has been working tremendously. You know, I have so many people like blowing up social media. What does the opening ceremony of the Olympics of athletes, of people pushing themselves beyond their comfort zones and reaching goals. What does any of that have to do with a reenactment of the Last Supper with drag queens and gay? It has absolutely nothing to do with it. But I mean, it is become so blatantly obvious, the agendas that they're pushing onto everybody to accept, and us talking about it and against it. We're the fucking hateful assholes. We're the extremists. You know, it's just
it's
bizarre
really
world,
backwards.
Yeah.
Well,
it's like I said, it's 20%, like 20% of the women, right?
Okay.
And 51% of all women are single, unmarried, or separated. There's so think about your nuclear family.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then unfortunately that's probably the same percentage of men too, because they ain't with these women.
Part of the system too is set
Right.
up against the father, against the men.
Right.
If you don't pay you have to pay the bills, even if the wife leaves you. You have to
Right.
pay the child
Right.
support.
Mhm.
If the wife decides to cheat on you with her jujitsu coach or some shit
Right.
like that, you know.
Mhm. Absolutely, dude.
and nuclear family means children, right? So
Yeah.
if you look at today, the today it's less than 40% households. There's 140 million households in America. We're talking trailers, buses, whatever you want to live in. 140 million places, okay? And out of those 140 million, only less than 40% have children, okay? And if you went to 2000, it was close to 47%. And then you go to 1980. I looked this stuff up. I'm not making these numbers up.
Okay.
When you go all the way to 1960, when you and me were born, when I was born, it was 67%. So the nuclear family has been
going down,
crashed,
Yeah, right.
crashing. And the Guidestones, why they're down? You said they came down, and they had what? Was it 500 million people or whatever? It's people. Our population used to go like this. If you ever look at the population curve, now if you look at it, zoom in on its top, it's right here. Now what's going to happen? It's going to go. Wow.
Yeah.
And
It's like a new ride at Cedar
they
Point.
can't fix it. They can't fix it, man. There's no way. I mean, only 20. Do you know 1 out of 23 boys, 24 boys today has autism?
Yeah.
Think of the freak show there.
Right.
People are afraid. I don't want to have kids.
Right.
Yeah.
And don't bring, and now the biggest thing was Taylor Swift with her cat. This is all over the news. We'll talk about that.
Mhm.
And it says childless cat ladies.
Mm.
And they're using the word childless, like it's a bad thing to have kids. So it's more destruction. It's a mental destruction of the nuclear
the word
family.
games, yeah.
And it's like programming you like MK Ultra, except MK Ultra now it's like everywhere. It's in the frequencies. It's the propaganda.
Yep.
It's everywhere you look.
Yep. You can't
Even
escape.
commercials.
There is no remedy.
Commercials never
Yeah.
had. They don't have a man and a woman and 2 children. They got a 2 people in bathtubs, having sex, whatever. Then they have 2 guys or 2 girls or a grandma and a dog. There's always a dog.
All
and
the
cat.
TV, all the new movies and
very,
shows and episodes. There's always like,
and you see
by the
less and less
second
white
episode,
males.
right?
You know?
Well,
Are they subservient
You're
or
toxic.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know. I'm toxic.
You're toxic.
See
all
shit
these
with my own eyes.
by the second episode in any new season of anything over the past 10 years, like within the second episode, all right, they're probably gay, they're probably trans. You know what I mean? And it's just like, it's so predictable.
Biden was okay because he wasn't an alpha. He was a beta.
Yeah.
He was an unauthentic beta.
Right,
you got
right.
alpha males, beta males, authentic alphas, unauthentic alphas, authentic betas, and unauthentic betas. You have 4 different types of men. And if you read any of these books, okay, you'll see how they categorize them. Trump is an alpha.
Right.
And so is that other guy, the VP now. Okay.
Yeah.
He's an alpha.
Vance.
And you know what? What did I say? 20% of women hate men or don't like men or don't need men. Well, it's right off the bat. 20% don't like the alphas. Right off the bat.
Yep.
Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Think about how many people that is, and how many. And there's more women than guys in America. 51%.
Brutus, you an alpha.
He did the video.
Did I go off on that one a little bit?
No. Okay, keep
man, I
going
love
because
it,
it's
man. I
true.
love it. I love
I mean,
it.
I've never really considered, myself an alpha in the terms of like the toxic, fighter guy or whatever. But it's like, I might not be like physically where I'm at, but it's just like mentally, man. It's just like I see this shit and I can't fucking sit here and keep my mouth shut.
Right.
So it's like at some point, it's like where there's so many men that just like, okay, or they wave the flag to fit in, or just like, well, if I really want this hot goth chick to like me, you know, and have sex with me, I'm just going to submit to her and lick her boots or whatever. It's like, no, the real women, they want daddy.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be daddy.
And that's why only 10% of men are getting laid all the time by some of the hottest chicks, because that's essentially what they want.
Yeah.
You know?
They want a guy to take charge.
Right.
They don't, but they can't say it, because then it's just like they get shit on by their own women.
Right.
You get in trouble, you know.
You know, I know I'm going to get in trouble. I mean, that's why I have you guys on.
Well, you know,
I have you guys on to get in trouble.
For instance, the other day, I opened up Facebook yesterday morning, getting ready for work, and one of my friends posted like this book cover meme of Kamala Harris, and it's like how I blew my way to the top. Now, a mutual individual that we know, who's in my local, responds back. It wasn't even his own words. It was his meme. It was a meme. So now you got to ask yourself,
meme wars.
Yeah, did he go intentionally do a search for this meme, or did he already
have it in his meme arsenal?
Right.
You know?
And it was
like we have our meme arsenal, they have their meme arsenal.
This is what it
We're
said.
fired at each other with memes.
This is what it said. It says, when you say things like that to women of power, they will never listen. But you know who does listen?
Your daughters.
Their daughters,
yeah,
and their nieces, and their and I'm like, dude. And I shared this with some of my guys at work, and sometimes before I even they'll come out and they'll say, "It's such a commie bingo."
I know, it's still amazing,
dude.
I seen him last night too at some local event, but it was you know, riding his bike because he's ready for the bike pass. You know, he rode his bike up there, but
he's a councilman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which is scary, but anyway, dude, I had one guy, and I've known him since like childhood, and he would just like, you know, it's just like we all have a lot of mutual friends that believe a certain way, and I can see their posts, and it's disheartening.
It is,
but I know I'm not going to. I don't engage because
you're not gonna start shit.
Yeah, it's pointless to engage you online. I'm not going to win that argument. I'd rather maybe we can have an opportunity to talk at something we have common ground on, and then educate each other from there. But the chances are getting less and less. But I post something, and I have these people constantly engaging and attacking, and it's just like. So there's one dude, I finally had enough. I tried to ignore his posts. I tried to ignore his comments. And
so you started trolling his ass.
So I know, then I just fucking went off, and I'm just like, dude, I went into my primal side. I'm just like, if we're face to face, you ain't fucking saying that shit to my face.
Right.
You're a fucking bitch. You're a fucking, and I just went off about all his fucking, he's like, I never attacked your character. I'm like, bullshit. Let's go back a couple memes when you said that I'm a fucking extremist. I'm a fucking Jan 6er domestic terrorist because I supported this. You lump me in this fucking, you know, category. So that was attacking my character, and I fucking ignored it, and I've had enough. So it's like, but now you don't say fucking shit. You learn. So one guy learned, but there's other trolls out there. And it's just it got to the point where I had to be the fucking wild man, and I guess getting to my toxic masculinity and whatnot. But it's just like, dude, I'm only going to take so much of your dumb fucking shit. Let's fucking go face to face. I'm an old fucking dude.
You're lucky to get kicked off of Facebook for it. Right?
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
it gets worse than that.
You know?
And I don't want to turn it into this, but this is like I got recently a little, you know, my glass house at Trump has recently gotten crashed. You know that woman Whitney Webb, that journalist, glasses. I'm
not familiar with her. I know Laura Loomer though.
Yeah, but she's been all over. She's been on Patrick Bet David. She's been around for like well over a year or two now.
Okay.
She's done this investigation on Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel is a billionaire. He's part of the PayPal mafia.
Yeah, he's JD Vance's big
He's JD Vance's big guy. Well, he owns a company called Palantir, which was instrumental in identifying all the January 6 people and helping
facial recognition.
And they promote it, dude. They promote it, and that's what JD Vance's money's coming from.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, I realize it's never going to change. This woman saying like,
the guys that we thought Marko told us when we were making our Get the Shot video at your big green screen complex. Because I was still fucking Team Trump, man. And I'm putting it on record now. I put on the glasses, they live glasses. Now, do I still get pulled in emotionally because there's parts of me that want to hope and pray that our country goes a certain fucking way,
yeah.
You know, But I mean, then we got the lefties that just live on emotion and they run on emotion, and logic just doesn't enter their fucking brain. See, I can fucking be man enough to have logic enter my brain and say, look, dude, I can admit I'm fucking wrong. You know, he lost me on that fucking, you know, I'm the king of the ventilators. I'm the, you know, the vaccine saved lives and all that. Fuck you. But Marko tried telling us, he said it was all a psyop back when we were making that video. And I was like, I don't know, man. I think we finally got our guy. Because I did experience so much positive change in the VA and personally in my life under him. So I was able to, they threw me some breadcrumbs.
Well, my brother did tell me that his doctor told him that if it wasn't for Trump, he would not have gotten a heart through the VA.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So it's because Trump is in.
And that's what I mean, there was a lot of good that I experienced under Trump that made me, and he would throw out a lot. He would expose a lot of other shit like the trafficking and everything else that everybody wants to ignore. So that kept me happy. But it was like, I'm like, okay, well, maybe that was intentional because they realized there still are a lot of logical thinkers out there. We have to, the Q thing and everything had to fucking really.
Well, I mean, why would he, you know, if he was a sellout, why would he bring up ivermectin and hydrochloroquine? I mean, nobody knew about that shit, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, and then it's like, damn. And then you know, it's like he did a lot of good things too. And it's almost like,
exactly.
It's almost like, it's almost like, well, it's, you know, you get to the lesser of two evils or the lesser of two globalists.
But it's always been like,
but it's going to keep going in this fucking direction unless something really changes.
Marko, what's your take on the whole assassination attempt that just happened?
That, well, see, I'll say, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, right?
Yeah.
I think it's no different than any other assassination. Like when you had, for example, Lee Harvey Oswald. Okay, what was he really there? Did he shoot him? No. There's a lot of things you got to know about Lee Harvey Oswald. You know, he worked for the FBI, the CIA, and for the Italian mafia. Okay, and then when he went back to Russia, who brought him back? Kennedy brought him back because he wanted to find out what the mafia was doing. So he was supposed to kill Fidel Castro. That was his job. He was part of the whole monkey virus. That's a whole other show. But where they created a cancer from the polio vaccine.
SV40.
Yeah, we don't want to get into
virus number 40. Go ahead. Okay.
So he was supposed to kill Fidel. He comes back around. Now all of a sudden, like, we got to kill him too. Well, let's kill Kennedy. We'll blame him. And then what's his face? Ruby shoots him, right? And what happens to him? He gets that cancer and he dies from his own shit.
Again,
which they made
they
made that from the polio vaccine.
They put it in the polio vaccine.
So
they made it at Fort Detrick.
He was a patsy. He was a patsy. Okay. And just like all these patsies, these lone shooters. There's always, right now. You know that right now this year we've got at least in the last 3 months we have at least 10 lone shooters all over the country that you don't hear much about. And guess what? They're classified. They're under investigation. No information. None whatsoever. You're never going to, it's just buried. And think about this. This guy that was on the roof, who was he? I mean, first of all, they have all these great pictures of him. I mean, we could see him all over the internet now. Don't you think the CIA had their guns on him already? Just waiting for him to do these. And who knows if he even pulled those triggers, okay? I'll tell you one thing. I don't think they didn't just do his ear. I think that was God helping him on that one because he turned his head. And there's no way they could have planned that one. I mean, when they killed Osama bin Laden, they didn't. He was already dead. He was
so you think it was an actual attempt? It wasn't like a staged thing to make it look just to help sell and get that fight.
No. I don't think so. Because
they really wanted him dead.
It took him 4 days to almost. He's still not normal. And if you see how he acts, you could tell his psyche has changed. He's not the same guy. But back to the shooter, there's more involved than just this one lone guy.
Well, I mean, he could have been a kid from Boys Town as a child, adopted, and been in the whole CIA MK Ultra thing from the get-go.
Of course he was.
Right.
They all are.
Right.
You know that Alex Jones. You think he's going to pay $1 billion for his lawsuit? You think that's all true? I mean, he probably had to cut some deal with the devil. Okay, and I'll tell you what, Trump's probably afraid. He's probably afraid. That's why he's probably going to go along with this Agenda 21 stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in on it. He's going to have to go. Maybe he's not.
Maybe that's why he had to pick JD Vance as well.
Who knows? Who knows? And who knows if
Because now the
what
whole
if he
thing
gets
with
rid of him?
JD Vance, this woman, Whitney Webb, is saying what's going to happen is Trump's going to come in with JD Vance. They're going to iron out Ukraine, but they're going to still need another war, so they're going to take out Iran.
Yeah.
And JD wants to punch the shit out of Iran.
There could be. I mean, this could have been another beta test. They're gonna, if they didn't get Trump this time,
Right.
I mean, like you said, I mean, I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I believe in divine intervention and all that. But it's like I'm so skeptical on so much now that I don't know. Because the evangelists are really pushing that side of the failed assassination attempt. I think, I mean, they could get in and then take Trump out, and then Vance is advanced.
Yeah,
There's the thing about this for a minute. They don't need a second shot. You know why? Because now he knows.
The first shot, yeah. He's
No.
People are out
You don't
for me.
think he's going to change what he's doing for the next? Because he's got
Especially when the Secret Service failed him,
and he's got a lot of family members that could have motorcycle accidents, carbon monoxide accidents.
Right.
I mean, you want to go down that list?
Yeah.
So he knows his whole family's in jeopardy. He's
already known that when he got into.
He's
this,
on a
too.
Wildlands Project. He's on Agenda 21. I hate to tell you. I mean, sure, he beat up electric cars a little bit. Electric car, that's a whole nother part of this whole thing. Electric cars. I mean, what gets me. This is the green machine thinks that electric bikes are good because of the bike path.
Right.
Do you know that if you do your numbers on a electric bike will create 140 kilograms of CO2, whereas a regular bike only will create 70. It doubles the CO2. Not only that, it's got a battery. That's a little kid in the Congo. By the way, there's no animals living in the Congo.
that have to live a third world, beyond third world to mine this shit.
The babies coming out, got big heads and shit. It's crazy. And these little kids are mining that shit. And so you're destroying a third world country. And then what about the bikes they throw in the garbage that we got in our garages that we don't need anymore? And now today, I'm in my garden. These fat kids got these $1,200 bikes. Zoom, 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 zoom. 30 miles an hour buzzing on the walks.
And if their fat asses would just pedal,
it's green. It's green.
It's so green.
These should last 10 years.
No.
And it would prevent situations like you're talking about in these third world countries where these kids and there's all this slave labor, and then it might move over to this country because there was it's just bullshit that this supports third world war shit over resources. There's no need for it. It should last 10 years. And be able to be upgraded. Yeah. That's how it should be done. There should be laws for this stuff.
We kind of got off a little bit.
We did.
Yeah, we did.
With Project
the
2025.
Wildlands Project.
We were at. I mean,
let's go back to you were saying that Trump. This is our prediction that you made, that Trump will lose by 6 million votes because of all these cat ladies with toxoplasmosis.
Okay.
So the fucking lady that cleans my asshole is going to have her victory dance. That I have to get my money.
So let's look at what's really going on.
Sorry,
so this VP comes out of nowhere. You don't even hear boo from her for 3.5 years, right?
Right.
Okay, that's all they have.
Right?
That's it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be running the border.
And then they made our president look stupid, right? So then the media is like, okay, what's this president? And then of course the right's like, oh, you idiot, he can't walk up the stairs, he can't talk, he can't, So this all planned, man. It's all so planned.
It's a big psyop.
And then all of a sudden he goes, I'll bait you, and he coughed that one time. The minute he coughed, like, that's it, it's over. He's not going to run. That's all he had to do. During that debate, and all of a sudden, I was sick. It was a bad debate. Oh, now he got COVID. Oh no! And then he goes on all these TV shows.
But he's been boosted.
Well, we'll get to a whole other issue, right? And then all of a sudden, he hands a torch over, and now the news has got nothing but Kamala in the news, and she's smart, and her polls have gone up.
Right.
And I don't think she's been nominated yet, but she will. And so now the thing that came out the other day was Taylor Swift. Okay, 50% of America loves Taylor Swift. 20% is avid. Loves her to dope, whatever. Okay, and then all of a sudden Taylor Swift says, "I'm with Kamala." That means 50% Americans right off the bat. Taylor Swift, she's with Kamala, right? And then the next thing that comes out is her holding the cat, and the word comes out and back to the guidestones. It says "childless cat lady," and that's all over, and all the all these people.
But that goes back to something that Vance said, supposedly.
Of course.
You know, about childless cat ladies.
Oh, is that what he called Kamala?
No, he called. It was an old like.
He made a mistake unless it was planned. Unless it was
Unless
planned,
it was part of the show.
It's part of the
long-term storytelling.
That's what's making me think, guys. It's making me wonder: could several movies be playing out at the same time?
Oh, now this one gets better. This one gets better.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden, then at night, now you got the men like, well, men with childless men with cats, right? And then I'm with the cat lady, and now the whole internet's got this cat. Now, what does a cat mean? Okay, wait. Hang on. I got this
toxic plastic.
I got this book here. I got this book called Deep Down Rabbit Poetry. And remember, you said you fight with people, and I said
Fight with people
on the internet.
Yeah.
And I was in Facebook jail for 2 years, off and on. I almost kicked off of YouTube from strikes, off double strikes a couple times. So instead of fighting with people, I'd get like, for example, trigger words. I would write a poem about trigger words mentally, and then I would explain what it means. So then I would just answer people with these poems for the last 2 years. So you are going to give me a poem because you're a great singer on Toxoplasma gondii, and we'll move to it because I don't have Toxoplasma gondii poem. I got 200 poems in here. Crazy stuff. I mean, I got the poem.
I could do a Shava Rakes.
I don't stand in your line.
It could be Shava Rakes like,
I don't
the Molsa, you got the cat lady.
Yeah. Okay, wait. All right, so let me hear
You the cat lady.
Give me a poem for my book.
I haven't
Well, what
thought
was
that
the
was-
trigger words that you were going
what
with?
about trigger words? Yeah.
Oh no, it trigger words?
Because
Well, cat lady was a trigger word.
Yeah,
well, all right. Let's just go back.
nah,
to,
this is a whole nother show. But I mean, I have like another pointless post. So I made a poem when people have pointless posts, and it's this big poem. It says how stupid your post is. It's completely ridiculous. And so I make these poems. I do research on them. Then I write the poem. I make it rhyme. And then at the end of the poem, which is longer than the poem, is what it really means. And so
Well, I remember you started sending me things, and some of them were good.
here's one, righteous indignation. You know what this is about? This poem. Oh, negative thoughts, negativity. Don't argue. Oh, you're too loud. Quiet voice.
You're kind of the person that
You-
likes
you-
to start shit.
Do you realize that if you don't scream at morality and your morals are being jeopardized, you don't scream about it, you become that beta, unauthentic male, a Barbie man.
Yeah.
You want to be a Barbie man?
Ken
Be a
doll.
Barbie man. Be a Ken doll. Go look at the Ken dolls.
Yeah,
Find me one Ken doll looks like one of us.
that has a penis.
Okay.
We should do a.
So righteous indignation. So this.
Video?
No, but have our hero put his head in, like a Ken doll, but the Union Ken doll.
Union
Local
Ken doll.
17
So
Ken
you
doll.
have to fight. You got to scream. You got to argue. You got to scream for your rights and your individualism. And your critical thinking is
Right.
disappearing,
Right.
man. Because you should talk nice in a low voice.
Right.
Oh, don't say that. That's negative thoughts. Negativity is bad. Oh, you're toxic.
Yeah.
But really, it's a bacteria in that kitty's mud. Now it's in your blood.
Instead of getting mad at people on it, instead of me getting mad at you on the internet, I make a poem.
Right.
It takes me 4 to 6 hours to make a poem, and then I put it. And guess what? You don't even have the attention span to read my poem. But guess what? You won't argue with me. But if anybody else reads it, they're like, "Holy shit, he just destroyed you."
Yeah.
And I've been doing that for 2 years. And I wrote a whole book, dude. It's 500 pages. And you're gonna give me one for taxes.
You're a true carnivore.
You're gonna, I need a rhyme for taxes so I can make
You
the
a
poem.
true that carnivore, man.
We're gonna add cats to that.
Yeah, it was in the kitty's blood or kitty's mud. Now it's in your blood.
Oh, say it again.
It's in what was in the kitty's blood is now in your. What was in the kitty's mud is now in your blood.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Because he ate the rat that had
Yeah,
it.
because the rat.
Because
The
the rat.
rat was attracted to the poop that had the plasma.
JD. So here's
Oh, there we go.
New York Times. Oh crap! What do I gotta like pay for it just to read the damn
That's
article?
all right. We just read it. I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that tells you everything.
But I mean, he made some sort of childless cat lady comment
Yeah,
in one of his, interviews or something.
yeah.
Let's say the problem solved was the country was
Now
run
here.
via the Democrats via corporate oligarchs by a bunch of childless cat ladies. Okay, so that was his quote, I guess. The country was being. That's why he's the running for vice president, because he saw that it's running. But Childless, so he made so he put that out there, and now.
So let's put this together.
Yeah.
Okay. So we now know that most women aren't married, don't have men.
Right. So we're coming full circle.
We're talking about
now.
and how many
Right.
women 62 million cats in homes. Okay. Stray cat. We won't get in it. And about 62%. Okay. 62% of the women, and it talks about voting, they have the cats. Now let's think about what does a cat do? A cat has a parasite. Okay, it's called Toxoplasma gondii. It's a parasite that doesn't affect the cat. It gets it from the rat, and that's why when you're pregnant, which women for decades don't touch the kitty litter box, because if they do, it could cause stillborns, it could cause death. Okay, it could cause brain damage to the baby's brain,
especially with someone with a weakened
immune system. Oh, we'll bring that up a little bit later.
Right.
We're gonna throw that in there.
Right.
And so basically but they never tell the girls why not to touch it. If they were saying, hey, if you got a cat, you're gonna have parasite living in your brain. They live in your brain.
Then they might consider, maybe I should just get a gerbil.
Or a snake.
Right. Or a fucking ferret.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of birds and so okay, so the Toxoplasma gondii, what it does
it cause autism in children if they're raising?
No, I don't know about that, but
Yeah.
I think glycosol and shots and vaccines and stuff like that do.
Yeah.
So 35% of every cat has this parasite, and they're saying that roughly 35% of all population in America has this parasite. They say it doesn't affect you if you have a good immune system. Now it does say, and you can look, and I look Perplexity. AI, look this stuff up.
AI telling you this.
Everything I'm talking about is from AI, because I don't want you guys to think I'm making these numbers. This is all out there.
So AI is making them up.
No, they give you all the research and the IBIDs and where they got the information from. And so 35% of Americans have it, and it says if we're okay, it doesn't hurt us, unless if your immune system goes down, then you get what's called toxoplasmosis.
How many people went out and got the friggin' shot and it affected their immune system?
We're getting
trying to get to.
All right.
Right.
Now let me give you the symptoms. So what happens is it causes a reaction time. That's why there's so many car accidents. It slows your reaction time by 40 seconds. In males, males and females have different sized brains. That doesn't mean they're smarter, but in males, it dumbs them down. They just get dumber. That's why these people are cat. You ever seen two men with cats? There's always a dumb one there.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not an accident. Or the crazy cat lady.
He's always trying to hammer a square in a hole.
Yeah.
They sit around watching. They sit around screaming at the TV, drinking the beer.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Right.
And Seinfeld. I love Seinfeld. And then what it also does in women, it makes them promiscuous. Oh, that's why 51% ain't married. Okay, women get divorced. The lawyers love it. It's a big business. Okay, and it also causes you to be a little more dangerous. Okay, you want to do
Take
more
risks.
Take risks.
Yeah.
Jumping out of airplanes, all kind of crazy.
Cross
Kids
I'm going to buy Bitcoin today at its high.
they're crazy. And so the cat. And then you got the dog walkers and the cats, and you got every TV commercials about animals and everything. And in my house, I have at least 20 dog walkers from 6 o'clock until 9 in the morning. I mean, just walking dogs, no kid, just a dog, But and they pick up. They got one hand with the dog shit, the chain, and the other dog, and that's what they do. Yeah. Think about being a slave. That's worse. That's as bad as grass. Cutting your grass on a Saturday and telling everybody you like doing it because it's soothing and it's comforting. That's bullshit. Cutting grass is slavery. Walking a dog is slavery. I know you all got dogs. Where's he at?
I haven't had a dog. I can go over I got to tell you about my brother.
Let me
go ahead. But I don't want to.
And so it causes problems. Okay.
Right.
And now think about this. We all got that shot. Not we. I'm not on that list. But a lot of us did. And what does that do? Change our immune system. Now the immune system's down. Now what happens is the 35% of Americans got this parasite, and it's living in their brain, but it ain't affecting them because they had great immune system. Now their immune system is down. Now the parasites start. Oh shit! Now it starts taking over. Now they're going to get these symptoms. Okay?
Now, as you were explaining this to me on the ride over here, I totally agree with this. And my reason for that is being into nutrition for so long, I read long ago and heard long ago that there is a connection between the gut and the brain, and the bacteria in the gut talk to your brain all the time, and it's a symbiotic relationship. Okay, so there was a test done where the guy took this specific bacteria and gave it to rats, and he didn't give it to the control group of rats that didn't get it, and he would put them in a bucket of water, and the rats that got that bacteria never gave up swimming, but the rats that didn't give that bacteria gave up swimming. And within 5 minutes gave up, and gradually, naturally, they were plucked out of the water and they survived. But the point is that if a bacteria can tell your mind to do that, then why couldn't another bacteria tell your mind and body to act in another way?
They could. And
totally.
And our scientists and pharmaceuticals know this
They're
stuff.
proving it all the time.
They know this stuff.
Right.
Does ivermectin kill toxic plasma gondii parasites?
Probably does.
You know,
I wouldn't.
If it did, they wouldn't put it on the internet. We'd never know because we have $1 million to test it. But I would say if it kills mold and it kills parasites, and I would say that.
Well, you know, one last thing. There's a Netflix show about, and it was a series that love robots and something, love sex and robots, I think.
Yeah.
And basically, it was a weird montage collage of different animations, but one of them specifically was really good. It was the 3 robots, and they go back to apocalyptic Earth they're going on a tour, of Earth. And at the very end, they're in this nuclear silo, and it turned. To make a long story short, you got to watch it. But it turns out that cats took over the world.
No, okay.
Well,
and let me share one more thing. Something I found out a few weeks ago, or a week or two ago. Do you know that cats are the only mammal that have slit eyes other than reptiles?
If you die in your house, and you got 2 cats and you don't feed them, they'll eat you the next day.
Yeah.
Next day.
That's how fucking loyal they are.
Yeah.
They don't
the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next
dog
day
would be like trying to get help and shit.
Yeah, he'll eat you too after about 7-10 days.
Yeah, but he'll cry about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think a dog cares about you.
I mean,
cats don't care about nothing, man. I hate
care
cats.
about shit.
Oh, we gotta be nice about cats.
Yeah.
I have 2 daughters.
Dude, there was this one cat, my friend, that's a whole nother story. This cat, I was doing this legal work and stuff while I was going through all my stuff back in the day, all this legal stuff with the courts and stuff. And I had just done all this paperwork. I worked so hard. I had handwritten it. This cat jumped up. This cat did not.
Oh, yeah. You shared the story.
Up on
looked at you and
looked at me and pissed on my paperwork. I grabbed that cat, man. I'll never forget how my ex, she was like, she had the weirdest, like, she didn't have a high-pitched scream, but it was like like, threw that cat out the front porch. That cat peed on everything I owned.
So that cat is about to piss on our Constitution.
Yeah.
The United States of America. It's about to piss on this country. It's about to destroy this fucking country.
And you know what?
Because of
the Toxoplasma gondii. And here's another thing. I asked AI this morning. I gave how many Democrat women voters and men voters and this and all these. I put all this information data in the computer, and I says, how many women without children that have cats have toxoplasmosis? 700,000 to 900,000. It came up with, and I said, how many have?
Those are ones that were even tested.
And
I mean, the promiscuity part is kind of cool.
No, these are the ones that are sick.
Yeah.
And then I said, how many can actually have toxoplasma gondii? 35 million. And how many can be affected by it if their immune system goes down? It was like 7 million. Guess what Trump lost by? How many votes? The Biden. 7 million.
7 million, yeah.
So this is exactly the number they need if it happens again against Kamala. 7 million
well,
votes.
that's if everything was done legally to begin with.
I didn't make none of this stuff up.
Yeah.
Toxoplasma was real. These facts are real.
I get it.
You can look all this up on AI. But if you ask AI to do it, like give you an opinion on something and not trick it, it won't do it because AI is woke. AI is liberal. And if you try to say something negative, it'll make it positive. It'll make it all happy. It'll change all its words to certain words, and you'll never get it. So you have to like ask it, like, you know, you got to split up, and then you do another search. And at the end, you get all this information because you tricked it.
Well, that's just like with Tim Pool. You know, everybody was like, well, you know, when Biden was over there at D-Day Memorial a few weeks ago, everybody's like, he crapped his pants.
Yeah.
He did everything an old man would do to induce in one's imagination. That dude is crapping his pants. And so everybody was saying, no, he didn't crap his pants. Well, what's his name? Went online to the chat, GPT, and asked it about Joe Biden's. Like, he said, if Joe Biden did this and this and this and this and this, would that incline that he probably pooped his pants? It was like, no. But then he says, if an old man did this and this and this and this, it said, oh, yeah, hey, obviously shit his pants.
Yeah.
You know,
They had to change
like
it
you're
from
saying,
Joe Biden to old
liberal.
man. Yeah.
It's liberal and
Yeah.
woke, like you said, dude.
No, it is. It's totally.
Yes.
And then sometimes you ask it to do something, you know, say, I'm sorry, but it's against our policy.
Yeah.
And then you ask it, correct this, right? And then it does research. And like I asked it to do this project stuff, and it would just talk about the project. And no. Correct what I said and put it in active voice and only correct and spell check what I gave you. Oh, I'm sorry. And then it does it. Now Perplexity will do it, but ChatGPT won't. It'll say, I'm sorry, it's against our guidelines. We can't do that. It's just like, it won't even tell you the truth. And then when you ask it to research something, it'll only research what it wants to research.
Yeah, right.
And it'll tell you that's not true. That's not true until you got to dig down and deep. So AI is designed to change the way we think, the way we write, the way we present ourselves.
Right.
It's bullshit. You got to be very careful. You got to be very careful. I mean, it's not what you think.
It's perplexing.
Oh, perplexing. There it
That's
is.
it right here, huh?
Yeah. Oh, try something.
I don't know. What do you want? What do you want me to do here?
Let's say how many
licks does it take to get
how
That's too old to
how
think
many
about.
childless cat ladies are there in America?
I'll get this out of your way. Go ahead,
Right.
take it. Here, I'll type it.
Yeah.
Just let's see what it does.
How many childless
Cat
women?
ladies
Okay.
or women are in America. Let's just see what it says. USA.
R-A.
It knows childless. You don't have to fix it.
All right.
Don't- You can spell it wrong. It'll
Okay.
like you can hit the button, go down. You got
JD Vance, and then of course it comes up with JD Vance sources.
All right. So, okay. Based on search results, there isn't an exact count of childless cat ladies. It's not the official demographic yet. However, I can infer some relevant statistics. Childless adults in the United States in 2020, approximately 38% of American adults did not have biological children, which amounts to roughly 101 million people nationwide. Of these childless adults, about 46 million are women. Contrary to,
Oops, sorry.
where'd it go? Okay, contrary to the cat lady stereotype, a higher percentage of childless American adults are actually men. Nearly 43 of adult men, about 55 million, did not have biological. Yeah, right. In Massachusetts, 44.5% of all adults, around 2.5 million people, were childless, which was the second highest share among states with sufficient data. Some swing states had above average shares of childless adults. For example, Nevada, 48.2 childless adults. Wisconsin had 41.5, and
so
Michigan had 38.8.
and now you see, look, all this. There's
Yeah.
Taylor Wood. See Taylor Swift with the cat.
Taylor Swift
Now-
with the
Yeah.
cat.
Now
Doja
every-
Cat. Now Doja Cat is making a lot more sense now. The
Yeah.
symbology she represents.
And so there this cat thing is taking over. And remember Trump used to get all the news, right? It was all Trump. Now it's not. Now it's Kamala, cats, Kamala. I mean,
And JD Vance.
and JD Vance.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's the switch. Every 2 weeks something happens, right?
Yeah.
And they got to switch everybody and keep everybody like what we got the Olympics now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys watching that?
No, I didn't
Only
watch
thing,
it, but I heard about
I
it.
only wanted to see Gojira because they had a metal band perform in the opening ceremony, and that was badass looking.
Gojira?
Gojira. It was like
Japanese band or
the
something?
Super Bowl needs to take notes. But the problem is, then there was all that other fucking bullshit that they
Mayhem.
shoved down your throat.
So I didn't miss
So,
anything.
Gojira, at least I can understand because it pumps you up ready to compete. You're friggin',
You have
it's like-
cable?
no.
Yeah, I don't have any. I don't watch
No,
TV. I don't even know.
No, I'm just going by Instagram little snippets that I
okay,
saw posts and shit that I follow. You know, it's like
watching
I didn't watch
TV
it,
is
like,
just
live.
not in my.
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
I do it to go to bed.
Yeah.
It's the last thing. I watch that alone. Where those people.
I mean,
go
my
out and try to
dumbing
survive.
down
It's not good.
senseless
You
entertainment.
don't think
It's
so?
No.
I love watching alone.
No,
I
because
think it's great,
you understand the TV light
I
doesn't let your
know,
pineal
I
gland,
know,
and
I
you can't
know.
get good sleep, and then you
I know.
wonder why you're tired in the
Fall
morning.
asleep.
Nah, you
and it
can't have that.
activates your toxic
You-
plasmogandhi.
You could. You cannot.
talking all
You
that.
know what? When you're sleeping, you cannot have any light, no little blinker lights,
Listen,
no.
I will tell you that I've taken your advice. When I go late at night, I got to use the bathroom. I turn on my fucking flashlight on my phone. I put it up there. I try not to shoot it in my face. I try to keep it as dark as possible.
And
Seriously, I
you
understand. I
and shut
get
your
it.
TV
You're
off.
right. Right.
And
I
move
get
your phone charger away from you and minimize electromagnetic
Right.
fields. And then don't sleep on a mattress that has springs.
Well, I'm fucked in that respect.
Yeah,
I went out
yeah.
and I got one of them Sertas.
We went
About
off.
one of those adjustable fucking
Right, that's what it
beds,
was,
man.
yeah.
You know,
We went off the
Right.
tangent again.
Yeah,
All right, we'll go right back on.
we go back on. So, I mean, one of the main
Pardon me.
things, that we wanted to touch on was how, your hypothesis, I
The
guess.
cat lady's going to win the
The
election.
cat lady's
Yeah.
going to win the election. That we're going to, all this. I mean, Jesus.
Or
What about
the
the Civil
bird
War? What
flu.
about the Civil War? They're trying to.
So that's going to be the bird flu. Then
Yeah.
then there'll be no vote. The other alternative is if she can win, they could cheat. She could win, okay.
Yeah.
Or the bird flu's coming.
You're
Okay.
right.
And the bird flu, they've been practicing with the bird flu. They've been killing chickens everywhere.
Everywhere.
And all the cities now are
Australia.
making new, like in
Rule
here on,
for chicken.
no more chickens unless you have 100 feet each way from the cage. And they're changing the zoning and stuff. And they're killing millions of chickens. And that's the anti-meat thing going on, right?
Yeah.
Because of the
Right.
bird. I mean, a
Chicken breast,
scarecrow,
good protein.
a crow could have the bird flu, and it flies over a chicken coop. They're going to kill a million chickens. That's what they did in Britain. They're doing it all over the country. And so the chicken, not the chicken flu, the bird flu is coming, and they already got the vaccines for it.
Yeah.
Millions of them.
That's right. They've
And
ordered them.
that's
Yeah,
a plan
that's right.
B. So
Yeah.
think about it. If the bird flu hits, there is no going to be election.
Yeah. Right. Right.
And then Biden's going to step down halfway through it.
Well,
And Kamala's going to be president anyways.
Yeah, he already stepped down
You know,
anyway.
I mean,
For the
you're not
most
going to
part.
see him talk anymore. It's just going to be Kamala.
Right.
Yeah.
They're not even going to waste.
Well, my buddy sent, that whole thing that went down with CrowdStrike. I'll read it to you guys. Tell me what
Yeah,
you guys think of this. This is going to blow your mind. How relevant this is, I have no idea. But it's very interesting.
You're only 1.5 of your glasses. You're pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. A few nights ago, Azure, the Microsoft cloud hosting service, suffered a major outage, followed the next morning by the CrowdStrike outage. There is more to this than you know. Azure hosts many systems, websites, corporate servers, virtual machines, even LLMs. On one of these Azure machines, the White House was hosting an AI data set and model used to generate Joe Biden and other administration execs, videos and audio. They spent significant time and storage to build this out, giving them the ability to place him in all manner of realistic scenarios. When Azure was taken down, the Joe Biden AI was also taken down. Data suggested this was an intrusion from a foreign actor. In a panic, the White House ordered CrowdStrike to push out an update that would enable them to track exfiltrated data from the Azure instance in hopes of preventing it from getting out of their control. CrowdStrike rushed the job and ended up sending out a bad driver, which bricked 1 million Fortune 500 workstations. This created two problems. One, Biden was now a liability because a foreign actor likely had the AI model and could impersonate him. This meant he had to go. Two, they didn't have the model themselves and couldn't make any new Biden videos. This is why he has not appeared in public, why he dropped out, and why they are scrambling like chickens with their heads cut off. This was from 722.
Yeah, this is basically going with that other theory that, this has never been Joe Biden.
Right.
Oh,
Presidency,
yeah.
It's a masked AI actor,
Right.
you know, pretending to be Joe Biden or whatever, you know.
They
'Cause
were
like
the
you said, they're all
tabs on the
puppets.
map.
They showed you
by
masks. They
year.
make masks. They've been using
Right.
masks.
Yeah.
Latex masks. Yeah.
Think about
They're
this.
all puppets. We already know that, you know, they're not really in charge. But like Joe Biden's basically the real Joe Biden. I guess what has he been dead? What, you know, there's that. Oh, he's been you know, the Q narrative or whatever. All, you know, he's been, you know, you know, assassinated for treason or whatever. You know, executed because of treason or whatever. But you know, and this is just these are just an actor showing us how bad things are going to be or whatever.
We have to think about this for a minute. They have these meetings, these world meetings at United Nations, and now you think, like, for example, Agenda 21 and Rio de Janeiro. You think that 200 leaders all showed up in one room? No way. What if something happened in that room?
Yeah.
The whole,
That's a good point, dude.
I mean, you actually. What if there was a virus?
Like
the whole world would be
the
destroyed.
G8 summits and shit.
I bet
like
you
that.
half those people.
That could be the Black Swan Project.
Half those people weren't there,
everybody
and you never
talk
see
about.
pictures of it. Okay,
Right.
just like United Nations, they talk about. You think all those people are in that one room?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe the president shows up. Maybe it's a green screen.
They're doubles or whatever.
You don't know,
you know?
man.
Mhm.
Do you think they're going to do this? People don't use common sense. Do you actually think they're going to take 200 leaders and put them in a room to have a meeting?
Yeah.
Not in a million years. Not even half.
You know, and then the fact that, you know, we're like, you know, Putin is this tyrant and everybody like he's the next Hitler, but he's still showing up to G8s and, you know, they're all like interacting and shaking hand and negotiating. You know, come on.
They're all on the same team.
Yeah.
They're all run by the same puppet masters. The United Nations runs this planet. They run everything, but we don't even know who they are. Oh, Soros, really?
Right.
You think you
Soros,
don't, if you knew their name, it wouldn't be a secret, right? It wouldn't be a secret. The puppet masters, nobody knows who they are, and who knows if they're even human.
Right.
Maybe
That's something
they
I
could
want
be
to bring-
reptilians or cats.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
cat,
right.
the cats.
You know?
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe they're getting this planet ready for somebody else.
Well,
I mean, we're on our own. We got the
Like
nuclear
X-Files,
extinction
man.
event, right?
X-Files
I
trying to tell
remember
us, man.
years ago, somebody I knew was telling me that aliens use cats to remote view.
Ah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
something going on there.
Yeah.
Like, why are they the only mammal? I don't even think normal, like a
Why?
tiger, a lion, a mountain lion, they don't have the slit eyes. Only fucking house cats do.
Well, that's because they're going to eat you when you
Why?
die.
Yeah. And why? Why were they like? I mean, if there's any kind of like ancient civilization that's
Revered.
always been revered
Yeah.
and tied to aliens, though, there's been the Egyptians.
That's how they felt.
With the cats.
The kitties and
They always
Toxoplasmosis.
the Egyptians always have cats.
That's what
in like
took
a
down
royal-
the Egyptians.
Yeah.
The
You know that
Uganda.
you know that
Uganda.
those Oriental cats have a higher percentage of Toxoplasma gondii.
What are you talking about, Oriental cats?
Like
the ones that they eat?
no, the ones that the weird cats that
menu?
cost tons of money. The ones they have in China. They're like
They have no.
Oh,
they have
Persian.
no
the
fur.
Persian cats.
Persians. Yeah.
They have I don't want to say double, a higher percentage of Toxoplasma gondii.
So they're more
parasites.
liberal than other cats.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I found that on Perplexity because I asked
Wow.
what
They're
kind
more
of cat.
promiscuous.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Like which cat, which species of cat
Yeah.
has the
So
highest level of
this is how you put things together. You research it, you look things up, you go to different places, then you put it together, and then like bang, the light bulb goes on.
Yeah.
I mean, who would
and
have
then you're
thought
labeled.
that
Yeah.
And by the way, why would you say childless? Why would you even put that in there? Why would you say catless? Why, you know why you would say childless? Because it's the anti-baby agenda.
Right.
Okay, nobody should have babies anymore. Don't bring them into the world. Get a dog, get a cat. We got to lower the population. Our cities, we're going to move into little small zones. You know, like how I come stack and pack 3 stories with no elevators. We got to feed them. We don't need roads. We don't need cars.
Right.
I mean, and look
pulverize
at
the roads.
those apartment complexes, you know, like if you look at like New York City or even look at how China handled the lockdowns, you know, it's easier to store all your cattle in one barn, you know?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And it's either to control them, it's either to microwave them, it's either to frequency them,
Mhm.
it's either to give them electromagnetic electrosmog.
Yeah.
It's easier to change your opinion. It's to change your minds, to skew their perceptions, to take away their individualism, to decrease critical thinking.
You are preaching.
and be and
preaching, Mark.
woo! Get in line, man. Get in line and
Yeah.
shut up.
Yep.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
Get in line and shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
Yep.
Yep. But stand 6
Fuckers.
feet apart.
Fuckers.
You know, and wear your muzzle.
Pisses me off, man.
You know?
And guess what? We're toxic. We're being toxic.
We're toxic.
Righteous indignation.
We're negative. You know?
If you don't have it, you're a fucking pussy.
Yep.
You're an alpha beta Barbie boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Or you're a
Oh,
guy
no,
from
now you
Local
got me
17
going.
that's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
liberal that wants the Albert E. Newman spot for Mad Magazine.
Yeah.
Doesn't he look like
Yeah,
Albert
he does,
E.
he
Newman?
does. He does. How you point at it?
We're going to be labeled.
Oh shit, we're getting crazy.
But it's
Yeah.
known throughout my local. You talk to a conservative guy and you bring something before you even say this post, and he's like, "Oh, I saw that. Oh, fuck, bro."
He's a commie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's in charge of legislation. In
Yeah.
the city. It sucks.
it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
I have a poem called "I Don't Need Entertainment Because You're My Entertainment."
Yeah.
It's in my book.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
talks about why do I gotta watch anything? I just get to watch you.
Yeah.
I watch what you do, what you say, how you walk your dog, how you pick up the dog shit.
Yeah.
And there's a lot
listen
more
to your
in-
conversation.
There's a lot more to get entertained with in your neighborhood.
Lakewood,
Fucking hey, I
a
was
lot
there
of
this
dogs. Everyone's
morning.
got dogs.
All
Everyone.
kinds of
I saw the
every
dude,
flag
I
but
was
the
like,
United States of American flag is flying.
Yeah,
out there
right,
in Lakewood,
right.
unfortunately.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, we have a cultural mixture in Lakewood.
Yeah.
But what's
Marxism.
funny is that like dogs bark. I'm kind of retired, so I stay home, but I still work. I'm a consultant and I write books and do gardening. But I can hear like the one dog, boop, 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 and then and then 5 houses down, boop, 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 and like boop, 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 boop. And like it's like these dogs are talking to each other all day long. The whole neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
67%.
They're like, save us. Get us out of here.
67% of Americans have pets.
Yeah.
67%.
Yeah. Well,
And guess why? That's why the kids are sick.
Yeah.
That's why asthma rates are so high because they
Right.
sleep with their pets.
Right.
Mhm.
And you got dust.
Well,
Well,
mites.
there was a
like
new,
grandpas
there was a
with
new
cigarettes
study
and cat.
come out which suggested they think these peer-reviewed studies are leading towards one thing, that they are starting to realize why dogs sniff each other's butts. They're trying to see which, because they're always telling jokes on one another when they're going bark, 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 or bark, 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 ruff, 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 ruff. They're saying, "Hey man, your mama is so."
Oh shit.
You know, listen now, and they can tell which dog is booty hurt. After they tell a joke, they'll go, they'll see if you're
I
booty
thought they were
hurt.
just seeing
Now,
eating better.
what
than
they're
them.
saying is now humans can tell if your dog is booty hurt, because our olfactory sensory perception, that odor, it's probably not the same as dogs. I didn't get that far in the article, but it smells like cherry bomb soap. If your dog's booty hurt.
And what
Well, I'm not gonna figure that out.
what section?
That's a
is-
mill joke, because there's cherry bomb soap in the middle with the grid in it, the Gojo cherry bomb.
What section
Never
does it
mind,
that
I
all
thought you guys would enjoy it, dude.
What section does it say that all Americans must sniff their dog's ass in Project 2025? Where
Actually, I don't think there's anything about pets in this book. And not my book, in the real one. This is the Marko Cliff Notes book. By the way, it's on Amazon. It's cheap.
yeah.
You can get it.
I'm gonna make my
Please
brother
do.
read this because he's got
Yeah.
more time than me.
Yeah. And you know what? Just so you know, I wrote this so people that just listen to headlines, there's
Yeah.
The clickbait.
Oh,
the
yeah,
clickbait
yeah.
But
people.
if you actually read it, you're like, "Whoa, it ain't that bad." Oh, you mean teachers?
Well, sensible people.
Here's
say that ain't that
one.
bad.
Here's one
There's
that
still
you
a
might
lot
think-
of mindless
Ready?
toxoplasma gondii people that will still think
there's a
it's evil.
chapter on religion, right? And it says that we're going to let kids practice their religion and prayer if they want in the schoolroom, and we're going to make teachers take a class to understand there's other religions, not just this.
Is that what it says in there?
Oh no, that's part of the
Oh,
project.
yeah.
One of the chapters.
All right,
in
say
there.
that again.
No, just one chapter.
All right.
It says that, and a lot of people disagree with that. Like, well, wait a minute. we took religion out of school, but kids practice religion. It's their culture. So if they want to pray before the class, they can.
I've seen people flipping out about that. They're bringing the 10 Commandments back in school, shoving it down your kid's
throat. They don't have to, but they're
Mm-hmm.
bringing racial, what's it called? Critical
Race theory.
Race theory. What's the difference? The teacher's got to take that class to get, so they're going to say, hey, you know what, teachers? We've got Muslims, we got Catholics, we got atheists. Everyone has their own culture. So if they want to pray, he don't want to pray. Here, well, Mr. Teacher, Mrs. Teacher, you got to take this class to understand that there's different people. And that's part, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I mean, why should we
Talk
just
about multiculturalism?
Okay.
What the fuck?
I'll just give you one example.
Right.
Out of I have 40 chapters that I found. There could be more. I just picked 40 out of 30 chapters in a 922-page book. And I'll tell you what. And then there's stuff about like which says, oh, they're going to take Social Security away. Wait a minute. It doesn't say that in there. It doesn't say that, but it does say, hey, you want to come across the border? We're not just going to give you a bunch of checks.
Well,
the Social Security checks.
A major foundation of law is you do not have any rights unless you give value back. So all these people coming in have given no value, and they're taken.
And they're also taking jobs and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And of course, the right is going to say they're murdering people. They do. You know, they're cherry picking too, and so is But the real reason, the real reason they're coming over the border is because our girls aren't having babies. Our population.
They need to bring the population.
So they got to bring the women over that can have babies and fill our houses that are empty. 147 million households.
But are we allowed to impregnate them or their own kind? Because I'm hearing just a bunch of military age males coming across the border.
Well, this whole abortion thing.
Impregnate our ladies. Yeah,
I want to get laid.
Hey, this whole abortion thing is another. This whole abortion thing right now, they're bringing it back, right? Roe versus Wade was 1972, right? Well, what happened in 1968? Club of Rome said too many people because everyone was having babies after World War II, right? And they calculated there's going to be like 20 billion, 16 billion people in 2020. So 5 years later, they came out with Roe versus Wade, and then in China says only one person. Do you know that there's 50 million baby women were aborted in India and China since Roe versus Wade and the one-child policy? 50 million women were aborted in China and India. Think about that for a minute. That's why there's more men. There's way more men in China than there are women.
Right.
Okay. Well, that's a whole nother show.
That's a whole nother show.
Nother show.
Right.
And so now they're bringing it back up. You know why? Because the population growths are crashing. And Americans, if they realize that our population is dropping and our houses, they took down 33 million homes in 2008. Do you think that was an accidental mortgage crisis?
Right.
Are you kidding me?
Well, the next one's going to be even worse. They're saying that they're going to manipulate this whole housing market. Then BlackRock and these big capital groups are going to come in, and they're going to make laws that make mom and pa landlords look like they're the enemy. They're going to put all these price caps on how you can rent, all these renter laws that go for the renter rather than the landlord who put all the value into it anyways.
Look at how much
and look at this
taxes.
Look at this. These people that squat now. I got a close friend. He's about to lose his mind. He can't get rid of these people that are squatting. They haven't paid him anything.
Lead paint. Okay. Then
look at how the property tax just got It's to drive people out of to lose their fucking homes. They can't afford it. But
my good friend come over the other day. He pulled a piece of paper out of his head. This is something.
My house is almost, my condo is almost worth, a lot more than what I paid for when I first moved in here, which is great. Would be great to sell, but what can I buy?
Purchasing power.
Yeah, but what can I buy? With it, and then now they're gonna raise my
300. Well, it's $300. My house is $300 more a month.
Right now, my buddy who's been, you met him. The computer friend of mine, he's been bitching at me for 2 years now about his high property taxes. He lives in Cleveland. He owns a double right over there at the edge of where McKinley runs into that road, which overlooks the valley, the park, just south of the highway there. And he's got a nice big house. His dad lives downstairs, but it was like $5,000 a month or a year. And now he come over and he showed me the new
9,000.
The new thing of how they estimated his house, the county auditor or whatever. And it went last year or 2 years ago. It was 189,000. Now they're saying it's 289,000.
It's crazy.
So his taxes are going to go up.
And you know what else? You know what's happening? The codes are changing. The National Electrical Code. You have to have like arc fault protectors. You're gonna have to have.
It'll be an average of
$33,000
is going to be the average price to upgrade the house to where they want it to be green.
That's probably pretty good.
Yeah.
So the builders aren't building.
Right.
And so they're going to build stack and packs in cities. That's why there's bike paths. They're if you notice, all the roads going to towns are one lane now. They used to be two because they know they're not going to need the cars. 10 years from now, people aren't going to have cars. They're going to share cars.
Yeah, right.
They're going to share cars. They're going to work and live in their towns. That's what Agenda 21's about.
Right.
That's what the Wildlands Project is totally about.
Yep.
And now you got only 1% of the world, and according to the Wildlands Project, will house humans. 1%. That's it. That's all we get.
Right.
And that's where it's all going. And it's going by the 50 years from now, 100 years from now, that's where it's going to be.
That's this whole thing of overpopulation and overgrowth. Like you watch that show Alone, they start out from a satellite view of the whole North America. And sometimes they'll do it at night. It's like, what are you saying? There's not enough room. It's like pitch black in the middle of the whole continent. And, you know, with the little dude, there's so much room on this planet.
Just get an airplane.
So much room.
Just get an airplane.
Yeah, like,
and it's all farmlands and bushes.
I don't get like what do they want? They want it all.
There's no remedy, and they don't want you to be self-sufficient.
They're burning Canada for the fires. All those people are leaving. Insurance companies now are changing it. You can't get a mortgage in fire zones. You got new fire maps. You got flood maps. I'm telling you, they're changing everything.
Yeah.
And the people are getting screwed out rural. Oh, we're not fixing your bridge. You know what they're doing now? They're pulverizing roads. Instead of fixing roads, you know why they pulverize? Because they absorb heat. So they
so there's still roads, but they're beating them into gravel.
They're doing over there.
They're pulverizing roads and not
right
replacing them.
Right.
And guess what happens then? The post office leaves the town. And now how do you bring your milk to market? If you ain't got a post office, you ain't got a bridge, you ain't got a road. I mean, and guess what? It won't be in the news.
Right.
That won't be on the news. It'll be the cat lady on the news.
Right.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's what's going to be.
Remember
on
the
the
movie
news.
Idiocracy?
Oh,
Never saw it.
that's exactly what's happening.
That's exactly what happened.
And-
I saw this thing because Hulk Hogan came out and spoke at the Republican
Exactly.
tour, you know, and it was just like,
and take a shot at my brother.
yeah. And they had it like on top of the same scene from Idiocracy where what's his name? That one black actor, that muscle black actor came out.
I don't
doing
know.
the same
I
thing.
see it.
Yeah.
Gatorade.
Yeah. And it's just like, are you kidding me, man? Are you? And I mean, dude, SummerSlam's here next weekend. I want to go.
What is that, a wrestling thing?
Yeah, WWE. That's my bread and circuses. You know, I still enjoy that. I like that distraction or whatever. But I see it raised me as a child to see that our political parties are the actors in wrestling because they go out there and they fight each other, they say all this shit to each other, and they beat each other up, but they go back to the same locker room, shake hands, you get paid by the same corporations.
You know, that Idiocracy is real. I'm gonna tell you why. And that's why
those are all cat owners.
Well, you got the if you look at the baby boomers, your Generation X and Y, the millennials, the Z's, and that new group. Okay, the new group is really dumb, and the reason they're dumb is because when you and me grew up, we could eat one apple, and our apple had a lot of nutrients in it, and our farmlands were good. But now we've deglycosylled them, so now we need 13 apples. Now watch what happens. 40 years ago, she's pregnant in the city eating Doritos, okay, and eating chips because she's on the government money. And all of a sudden, that baby in the third trimester needs nutrients. It don't get them, so give it to the organs, but not enough to take it to the brain. So the brain loses some of that nutrients. It's a little teeny brain. And now that baby becomes dumber.
Yes.
And guess what? It's the new DNA of the new baby. Now she's sitting there at 15 years old, you know, and she's eating
later Doritos.
Yeah. And that new
which
baby
are worse than the 15 years prior.
Yeah. And so we're on a third generation of stupidity. And every year they get dumber and dumber.
Yeah.
And it's not because it's not TV. It's the DNA.
Yeah.
It's the you think the glycosol is not destroying our? I mean, why are salamanders?
It's that gut brain thing that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah. Glyphosate.
I mean, and not just that, other
Carnivorous.
pesticides and
Them carnivores eating all them glyphosate.
So you know, so that movie,
Doritos.
well, why they use Gatorade, right? Gatorade.
Yeah.
That's like Doritos.
Yeah.
Put Gatorade on the flowers, they'll grow. I mean, come on. They're shoving it up in our face.
Yeah.
And it's
Gatorade enema.
It's fucking real.
Starting to piss
It's
me
not
off.
it's not sci-fi. It's reality.
Yeah.
And they're
Well, we
shoving
let
it
them
in our
carnivores
face.
Carnivores.
They're shoving it in our face. Shoving it in our face, man, all day long.
I put a hole in a carnivore for fucking with me.
And we just sit there and listen to it, man. And they got it so bad that people can watch football and there could be 8 minutes of commercial and they just sit there.
Yeah.
And
It's so bad.
They didn't even waste 8 minutes of their life. They didn't even know the 8 minutes went by.
I saw it when you couldn't go to see a football game. You know, I love going to concerts. I was just at a music festival last weekend. But when you were told that you couldn't go to a concert unless you got that
the jabby.
the jab, or you couldn't go to a football game, I was just like, I'm out then. I guess I'm out. I stood my ground, and I have friends like, I ain't missing a Browns game. I'll
That's
go get it.
crazy,
And rolled up their
man.
sleeve for a fucking Browns game.
Insane.
Uganda got
Man.
him.
Yeah.
Uganda got him. Talk some
You know,
folks that
or they
shit.
could go see their favorite performance or whatever.
Yeah.
I quit going to rock concerts, and I used to go 2-3 times a week. And I quit. You know, I still haven't recovered from it. Matter of fact, today is the first time I'm going to a festival.
You're gonna relapse.
It's on my body's property,
Yeah.
his property.
Yeah.
It's a little small festival. You know, there's not gonna be millions of people. There's not gonna be no lions and shit and machines
Right.
checking for whatever they do.
Yeah,
And but if
Your eyes to get in.
dude, first time in 4 years, I'm going out to see a band.
Yeah.
I have friends in bands that are mad at me because I haven't gone to see them.
Yeah, well, you ain't missing nothing.
You know, it just
yeah.
people today are
Does
just-
Project 2025 want to bring back music festivals?
Actually, you know, it doesn't really get into that. It's more about how to politics. You know, make it easier to fire people. It's how to run the government. It's less government. Get rid of
So it's kind of like
bureaucracy.
what's his name in
plus-
Brazil, then,
Huh?
right? You know?
900 plus pages of common sense.
How to how to lower
Smaller government.
So if
smaller government.
so
and
if the
less bullshit.
if the media's demonizing it, it's probably a good thing.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, basically is what we're saying.
Yeah.
Right.
I think because we started
Well, no,
this talking
this
about
actually
your book.
this actually good.
People should get your book and read it if they don't want to read the whole
they won't read it. Yeah.
of and realize that it's not. So all these videos people are sending me because we didn't really touch on the veteran benefits thing that they're telling me that is in this thing.
I'll add another chapter for you. We'll have 41
Just message
chapters.
you. All right, yeah.
I got
Just
it.
message
I read
you.
it all, and
Okay,
it's not.
you know.
It's not what they tell you. They spin it.
Yeah.
They
Well, he
spin
spin everything.
it.
He never told you that. Trump never said drink bleach.
No, but
Yeah,
but the
right.
president actually said, "Well, he told you to drink bleach." Like he's talking. The president is talking to stupid people.
Yeah.
If he says that, then he's talking to you. Got to be actually. You should be appalled that he's talking to you and telling you,
Right.
"Oh, the president told you to drink bleach." You should just be appalled that he's talking to you like you're stupid.
Right.
And that's what he did, because you know what? They're fucking stupid. This
Yeah.
population is stupid. They watch
And
that shit. They miss the boat. They spin everything. They watch your TV. They think a commercial is just a commercial. It's
Yep.
not. It's all mind control. It's MK Ultra.
Yep.
At warp speed. At warp speed. And then you got trigger. Now you got trigger words.
Why do you think it's working so well, though? I mean, obviously, we mentioned a lot of the reasons why, the nutrients to the brain and how our food's been, the fluoride in the water, how, I mean, I know I'm not trying to put myself on some upper level because I try and eat cleaner and avoid, a lot of those poisons in my body. But the three of us are able to see more clearly than the general population. What are we doing different that,
What we're doing is we're not relying on the media to tell us what to do. We're not relying on 7-second headlines. We're not relying on 50-second videos. We are questioning them. And when we question things, we look things up. And we look things up, we become more intelligent. We have more bias. The more bias you have, the closer you get to the truth. But if you don't have any bias and you just, you got the Alamo and you're only worried about the Indian Indian women that their husbands were dead, and you want to hear their story, or you want to hear the government story. There's 50 stories of the Alamo. Which one do you want to listen to? If you only listen to one, you think that's a story. You got to listen to all of them, make your own opinion, because you create truth in your mind. And that's what we do. We spend time, we look. Like, I wrote this book, because you know why? Because I read that stupid book. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not wasting my time. I just spent 3 days reading this book. I didn't read the whole thing. I couldn't, but I read a lot of it. I took notes. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm not wasting 3 days on this shit. I'll just make a book and sell it. That way you don't have to read it.
Yeah.
But you should read it. Don't just, this is my.
Right. I get it. Yeah.
And no, there's no bias here. And so we study things. We look things up. We search them. And if we can't, we keep looking and digging and digging. Even when we go to AI, Perplexity, it won't tell you something.
Diggers.
We're digging in the dirt.
Yeah.
Digging in the dirt.
Yeah.
The mud,
My
it
digger.
gets in the blood.
Yeah.
Oh, say how that go? The tax.
The cat mud.
Yeah.
Come on, you forgot already.
In the kitty's poop. What was toxoplasmosa in the kitty's mud? Little kids touch the kitty, cross-contaminate, and get it in their blood.
You know I'm going to add that.
A lot of, I think, at least with me, like even Greg will tell you, because me and him been friends since high school. Something happened to me in high school. I never thought along the way the masses think. And then I started going to that law class that I've went to for 30 years, and did all that shit in my case, and just started realizing everything is a scam.
Everything
is, and I think about 10, 15, 20 years ago, especially with the Patriot Act, that's when a lot of people started realizing it's like, if they say something is patriot, then it's not patriotic. Whatever they say, if they put it in this light, it's the opposite of what they say. And this is a mindset I got into 25, 30 years ago. And it just sucks that nobody, at least half of everybody I know, doesn't see it that way.
Everything is like, for example, and this is, I got a book it's called Skewed Perceptions. Okay. I'm working on it. In a couple of years, I'll put it out. For example, these girls go to the store and they buy jeans with holes in them, right?
Right.
These are working girls who make money. They spend $150 and they got jeans and they think they're in style because the movie stars are. You think that's what the real reason is? If you knew about all the world summits, you'd find out that 40 years ago, they talked about there's no women and men, or everybody's equal. No one's better than another.
Equity.
Equity. They're pushing it together. So what happens today?
Not everybody starts in the same place.
So guess what? That girl with
but
the
we're
jeans,
going to end in the same place.
she's a slave. She's a slave, right? She bought the $150 jeans with holes in them. Then she goes to the bridge where the poor girl living under the bridge has holes in her pants. And you put the two together, guess what? You don't know who's rich and who isn't. Guess why? Because she got bamboozled into buying jeans with holes in them and paid $150. Mm-hmm. Now she is the equity, the same as the girl underneath the bridge with the same jeans.
Yeah.
You think that was an accident? Holes in jeans? You think that's an accident?
Well, you look at some of these old movies.
Not an accident.
I remember when I was a kid, and if we took an airplane flight, we had to wear decent clothes. We had to wear nice clothes if you got on that airplane.
Yeah,
I get on an airplane now. Yeah. You see people in their PJs.
You're representing our family. You got to
flip flops. What's with the flip flops?
You used to go out and you used to leave the house.
Who would wear?
People would wear suits.
Yeah,
I gotta go down to the drugstore. All right, I gotta put my tie on.
Sweatpants.
I'm going to Walmart in their pajama pants.
Right,
all day long.
And they wear their hats
like that. Well, that's what they're trying to do with Congress. They're like, we don't have to wear suits anymore. You can
for Fetterman.
It's ridiculous. They want you to look like a complete
idiot.
But he wore a suit. He wore a suit for non-use speech. So when the boss shows up, when the boss shows up, you gotta look your best.
We should go to Walmart and do a show there, a walk and talk.
show. Netanyahu's the boss. That's a whole nother episode too.
Well, I gotta be a slave and cut my grass, man.
We gotta. And walk your dogs. You gotta walk your dog.
Yeah, I gotta go
pick up the shit. And
back to my brother. You remember you looked at my house. My brother was concerned about moving in. He was worried about mold. You said mold wasn't an issue because as long as I keep the dehumidifier in the basement, keep it dry, then you're not gonna never.
But you told him his cat was gonna be
right. But then so you spent 50 minutes with me, and you were in your car, and you were getting ready to pull out of the driveway, and that's when I told you. Well, my brother's going to bring his girlfriend's cat. Remember? you freaked out in my drive.
Has he met your brother? Has he sat down?
No.
Yet?
So anyways,
That's what you need to do. You just
about
need to drop
2 months,
Marko off
about a
with your
month and a
brother
half or
about
2
cats.
months ago, I told my brother, I said, listen, Dave, she's setting you up. She don't give a shit about that cat. See, because he's like, well, I'm going to go back like every few months, and I'm going to take the cat for 3 months, and then I'll go back.
Like child custody.
And yeah, she'll take the cat because it's a cool cat. It's like a Viking cat. Like it's not like a cat. It's like a dog. It'll follow you around. I'm like, look, Dave. So I finally sat down with my brother. I said, look, Dave, she's setting you up because once you take that cat's never going back to her house.
Yeah.
It's never going to go back to her house. And then you're somebody on a limited
And that
income.
cat gets in the way of her promiscuity.
Right. And then on top of that, you're going to have to pay. That cat's 14 years old, so the cat's going to get sicker. You're going to have to start paying the vet bills. And then thirdly, you're going to have to pay for food. And then fourthly, not to mention, it's going to bring toxoplasmosis into the house. It's going to ruin my living quality as well as yours.
The cat's not there, is it right?
No, and I said, so basically, I'm telling you, don't bring that fucking cat here.
Nope.
Yeah.
No.
I didn't tell him like that. I said, but I don't want the cat. I said, he says, well, I don't know what I'm going to tell her. You know, I said, tell her your brother doesn't want the cat.
It's your
because
house.
if I wanted an animal, it would be a dog. My dogs have been dead now for 2 years. I had to put I haven't gotten another animal because I don't want another dog. I don't want, especially with inflation. You know what I mean? I'm going to have to feed that dog. It's another mouth to feed. It's like it's too much, dude. No. And then when me and Brian were tearing up the carpet to clean up the house in the attic, so my brother could live in a healthy house, he said, look, Neil, look on the wood floor. You could see stains from cat urine. You could see the uric acid crystallize up. He says, that cat comes in your house, it's going to mark all this shit.
Yeah, no.
I said,
Did you put kills on there and get rid of that shit?
No, I didn't.
Just leave the cat out of the house.
Yeah. Just no cats, dude.
Yeah.
So I can remember my
the
brother
coyotes need something to eat
for like 2 days after I had this conversation with my brother. I said that she's going to leave this cat here, and you're going to have to pay for it. You're going to have to pay for the medical bills. You're going to have to put it down. You're going to have to put it to sleep.
Everything.
Right.
No.
And I got to sacrifice my house.
Why don't you just get a new girlfriend?
Huh?
Yeah.
Why does he just get a new girlfriend?
Yeah. It's probably easier.
I mean, that's easier.
Yeah.
You go.
Get your girl with no cat. It's simple.
Yeah, right.
I mean, there's 51% of the world are women in this country that don't have any male partners.
Yeah.
Well, they might.
51%.
of
but they have
women,
9-volt batteries. Go.
They got what?
9-volt
and
batteries.
35% of them have cats.
Yeah.
It's actually, I forget the numbers, right? I didn't really write them down.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're approaching the deadline here. I think
1 hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah. We've hit a lot.
100 minutes.
Any other thing we want to put out? Because we started talking about your book and what Project 2025 really is for our audience. Anything else we want to put out?
Yeah, this one here.
Yeah, we've advertised that.
Fix your toxic home and live longer. If you're going to read any book,
me of a song.
Don't waste your
Because
time.
every 100
one.
minutes, Boondoggle goes crazy. You remember that Northfield Park?
Yeah.
Okay, I just.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, I guess that's it then.
All right.
Yeah, we'll wrap up
Boondoggle
there.
going crazy.
Just like I said, people, do your own research, do your own thinking, be skeptical, ask questions. Don't just go off of clickbait, memes, meme wars, or the mainstream media, especially mainstream media. And limit your cat consumption.
Right. Right.
And with
cats, don't pet them.
Yeah. All right. Till next time.
Boondoggle.
The loudest weekend of the year is back. Louder Than Life in Louisville, Kentucky. With Slayer, Slipknot, Motley Crue, Korn, Judas Priest, Disturbed, Five Finger Death Punch, Breaking Benjamin, Evanescence, Falling in Reverse, The Offspring, and so many more. September 26th through 29th in Louisville, Kentucky. Passes on sale now at louderthanlifefestival.com.